If you've been part of the pro-life movement for longer than, I don't know, like 5 minutes, you've probably been accused of, quote, not caring about women or babies after birth. We all know in the pro-life movement that this is a completely ridiculous accusation. But today, you don't have to just take my word for it. We have some amazing guests on Explicitly Pro-Life Podcast today, Allison Santafonte, Debbie Capon, and Emily Smith, who have dedicated their lives to ensuring moms are fully supported in choosing life, both during pregnancy and beyond. And so I'm so excited to have Allison on today. You've probably seen her on pro-life social media before. She is a national leader and strategist for the pro-life movement. Debbie Capon, who is the executive director of MiraVia, a pregnancy resource center and maternity home in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Emily Smith. Emily is a graduate at Belmont Abby College. She just got her master's in North Carolina, and she was a former resident at MiraVia. So we have like an amazing lineup for you. Welcome, ladies. I'm so excited to have all of you.
Thanks for having us, Kristen.
We're really excited to be here.
Yeah, Debbie, I guess as the head of MiraVia, I've been to your all's place before years and years ago, but can you explain to the audience what MiraVia is and the unique factor and really the innovation that you guys have developed?
Yeah, thank you. So in 2013, we built the facility here. MiraVia is a word that's meant to be in the miraculous way. Before that, we had operated a traditional maternity home in Charlotte, North Carolina. But this amazing partnership happened where the abbot of Belmont Abbey College, Abbot Placid Solari, donated the land to us and invited us to come and provide this service on campus to not only the students at Belmont Abbey, but from anywhere. And so we have this amazing facility with 15 private suites where women have now come from all over the country, from 9 different states, 12 different colleges, as far away as Texas. And when they come here, then we provide all the support around them that they need to embrace motherhood, to build a community of friendships here with other moms. And then they stay with us completely free of charge until their child turns 2 years old. And Belmont Abbey is putting their money where their mouth is too, because they provide tuition assistance to our moms. So it is an absolute dream team of what's happening here and proving that it can work.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really have developed a model that hopefully can be, exported across the country, of having this pregnancy center maternity home right on campus, having the mothers being able to attend school, because we know, and anyone who serves in the campus pro-life movement knows, housing and daycare, those are the 2 reasons we hear from young women all the time as to why they felt they had to choose abortion when they were in school. And so that's good. This goes right into our goal in the pro-life movement of making abortion truly unthinkable. Emily, do you want to tell us your story about how you came to MiraVia?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually went to Belmont Abbey College in 2013. That's when I got there to play lacrosse. So I was there for almost 2 years. I worked in Florida in the summer at a camp, and that's where I found out I was pregnant. I thought I had to drop out of school, and it turns out I was just really blessed at Belmont Abbey College. That's where MiraVia was. And I ended up living there, and I was still able to play lacrosse. So I finished out my last 2 years. I was a biology major. I finished, my senior game, which is everything that I planned when I found out that I was pregnant. I made wonderful friends while I was there. I actually am working with one of my friends from MiraVia, her husband's. I was in a wedding for one. Some of the girls are in my weddings. So it's a large circle. And then I was able to work there after I graduated from Belmont Abbey College. So Debbie, all the staff and employees at MiraVia, and of course, all the community that supports the program, they've supported me up until now, and it's still ongoing. So I'm very grateful to be a part of the program, to have lived through it, and then, of course, raise my son up around amazing people.
That's so awesome. Before you got on, you actually told a story about how you went to Planned Parenthood when you were in Florida and you found out you were pregnant. Can you just tell everybody, all the awesome resources that Planned Parenthood was able to provide you?
Yes, so I actually went to Planned Parenthood, one because I was trying to hide the insurance notification towards my parents. I know Planned Parenthood took
Okay.
cash, and that was the only place around. So I had to drive to Miami. I went there ultimately for an ultrasound because I think at that point I was 9 weeks pregnant. And the first thing after they showed me the ultrasound that they asked me was, when do you want to terminate? And I was just shocked, completely speechless. And I was like, oh no, I'm planning on keeping it. I just wanted an ultrasound to
I
see
just
how
want to see
far
my
along I
baby.
was. And yeah, and they were kind of caught off guard too. And so I left with my sonograms and never went back.
I guess I'm so glad that you knew about MiraVia, and I'm saddened to see, but not, I guess, surprised or shocked to see that Planned Parenthood just immediately pushes abortion on young women who come into their doors. But so grateful for your courageous choice. Were you afraid of telling your parents about being pregnant?
Oh, I was. I actually called my mom, who was my best friend's mom at the time, because she was working with me, and I asked for her advice.
Mm-hmm.
I called my aunt at first, who she had a pregnancy when she was younger, to get advice from my parents. And surprisingly, my parents, and I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but they were very supportive throughout the whole entire thing. And I think they were
Mm,
most disappointed because I didn't come to them first. So they've
yeah.
been supportive of me and the program from the beginning.
I know. I think as a parent myself, that's a conversation I've had with even my kids of like, there's nothing you can never, never come to me with. And you hope your kids will always come to you, but then you also know you have to set high expectations for your children for their behavior. And it's like this weird thing of
Hmm.
we expect you not to have sex before you're married, but in case you mess up, like you still, it's like this very weird thing of how do you not seem like you're condoning these actions while also loving and supporting your child.
Right.
I don't know. I have a teenager now, so I have all these weird conversations. Thankfully, he's not interested in any girls yet, so we're good. But I'm just prepping for when that day comes. Allison, okay, amazing story of Emily choosing life. Debbie and this phenomenal ministry there at Belmont Abbey College, like a pregnancy center, maternity home on a college campus with this partnership with the school to make sure young women can graduate, which when you talk about like transforming the legacy of a family, ensuring she gets her college degree, because we know a child born into poverty is, I think it's like 6 times more likely to live in poverty his or her whole life. So that just transforms a whole legacy. Now I want to bring you into the conversation though, because you're kind of from this outside pro-life strategist, media analyst side. What can we be doing better now in this post-Roe era? We've just entered year 2 of no Roe versus Wade. How can we take what's happening in MiraVia and spread it across the country or promote other resources like MiraVia across the country?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Kristen. I can't believe we're in year 2. I still remember I was standing when Roe was overturned. I feel like we'll all kind of remember that day. And Kristen was at the podium, by the way, delivering the news. Listen, MiraVia, I had the honor of going and seeing these suites and just the way their staff interacts with these girls. And I was almost like envious. It's almost like a sorority. These girls have each other's back. They're in the throes of new motherhood, which is wild. I can confirm. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and like you need people around you that are going through it too. And so they're like, all right, I'm going to basketball practice. Like, this is what you're doing. Let's meet for dinner. It's really powerful. It was really amazing to see how much fun they were having, still like finishing their education and raising littles together with the help of MiraVia. And I'm like, why isn't this at every school? Like, why? I mean, Belmont Abbey is a wonderful, religious institution, but you look at all colleges right now, many you've been at, Kristen, they're making a lot of accommodations for a lot of people, right? They're willing to make accommodations for just a few. And so I would say, hey, as a strategic move, we need to make accommodations for girls who find themselves in unexpected pregnancies that can be empowered to choose life and continue schooling. We know that 74% of women and girls would choose life if they just were supported, if their circumstances were different. And that's what MiraVia is coming along to do, is saying, hey, look, well, we've got you. We've got a beautiful room for you. It's really neat if I can just visualize it for you. Not only is it just a room where you can like have a bassinet bedside, but there's a separate like attached room for if you have a toddler, as they grow, you can like they've really thought this out as what, moms will need. Um, and so I've been honored to just get to work with them. And I think it's a really smart idea for college campus ministries to take this to your, your institution, your administration, and say, look, what are we doing to accommodate for a particular type of person on campus? And, again, we're seeing a lot of accommodations being made. So women that choose life and um, are still wanting to finish their education should be empowered to do just that.
That's right. I know I like I said, I was there at MiraVia years ago, like more than 10 years ago. So it was right after you all opened. And I just remember, and I tell the story of MiraVia, often to college administrators when they ask, what more can we do to create a culture of life? And Debbie, you're actually sitting in one of the rooms. I see the crib behind you. I mean, it's a gorgeous room. I know you're like, it's just absolutely beautiful. And I think that it's just such a wonderful testimony to just how much you love these women and you love their children, the sacrifices that were made by supporters and your whole leadership to make sure that you're giving them this amazing, beautiful, comfortable home to live in, and so to empower them to choose life. One of the things that I got excited about, Allison, is you actually emailed me about how Students for Life standingwithyou.org website, where you can go and start a chat or put in your zip code for pregnant and parenting resources, actually referred a woman to MiraVia. Can someone tell me the story of what happened here?
Yeah, I think Debbie can tell that story. It's exciting.
Yeah, I would love to. So this was a young woman who was studying at University of North Carolina in Charlotte, and she started looking for resources. And as you know, there's not much out there. And she came across through her search the Standing With You site, and she put in her school, and then we popped up as a resource for her. And it was this perfect, the plan is working. What y'all were able to do to be able to be at that front line to reach them in their moment of need, and then for us to be there to say, okay, we'll take it from here. We will help you. And she stayed with us. She just graduated this May and is a teacher now, and her little girl is doing great. So all of, like you said, those naysayers that think that we only care about the baby and the birth, this is so false. Like all they have to do is come here and see that it's not rocket science. It's just coming alongside of them and giving them what they need and support.
Yeah. Something, if I can add on to that, is, you look at the other side of this abortion fight and they're doing nothing like this. You can ask a pro-abort, hey, what would you do if a woman chose life? If you're so pro-choice, if they choose life, where are you sending them? And they're going to send them to PRCs, pregnancy research centers. They're going to send them to MiraVias. The groups that are doing it for free, making, no money, they're donation run. That's who they're sending it to. They don't set up women to succeed and tell women you can do it all. You can finish your dreams and have kids. You can do this. That's what our message is. That's really empowering. And I think it's really neat that through Standing With You and all the work that your team put into this, girls can just easily find out about things in their area, whether that's, legal help, to get out of a bad relationship, housing, pregnancy care, all this stuff. And I'm just so moved because Debbie's gotten to share with me some stories of like MiraVia moms who went through MiraVia, then graduating, becoming a nurse, and delivering MiraVia moms babies. Like it's like this little, amazing family structure coming through of like them connecting, being like, oh, you're at MiraVia too. I went there too. Now I have a 5-year-old and like I'm helping you deliver your kid. It's really, really neat.
Yeah. And it's the highest compliment for me that Emily wants to work with us. That she wants to go back and give to, to mentor the moms that are here now. And, because she's been there and done that, and no one can tell the story better than she can.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask Emily is, what do you think, Emily, in terms of, from your perspective, what do you think the pro-life movement can do a better job of doing? And I obviously have a lot of ideas and I have a podcast, so I share those ideas all the time, but you don't have a podcast. So what do you think we could be doing to better reach women who are in a situation that you found yourself in, to know that, there are places like MiraVia. There's not enough places like MiraVia. That's why we're having this podcast. So hopefully we inspire a couple more maternity homes / pregnancy centers to start. But what more from your perspective can we be doing, or what should we be doing differently, should I ask?
Yeah, I think we're on the right path. I wouldn't say necessarily anything differently, but I think we're exposing ourselves in the right media channels. I believe more of a social media presence, especially because that's digital media and marketing is up and coming. And just getting out to different college campuses. I know that's something that Debbie and a few of the MiraVia staff has been doing, and you as well. So I wouldn't say necessarily anything different, but just more of it.
More,
Getting these
more of
moms
the
out
same.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
just more.
one of the things we found this year, which was really, I mean, I knew it was bad, but then to see the number in front of me made me even more upset because we've been door knocking with our campaign for abortion-free cities and neighborhoods surrounding abortion facilities. And the first question we asked everyone was, do you know of a pregnancy center or a maternity home in your neighborhood? Do you even know what they are? And in every city we were at, there were multiple nonviolent pregnancy resource centers, help stations available. And 75% of the neighbors didn't know they existed. And I think that for us is, I think, a very big wake up call in the pro-life movement in this post-Roe era of, rule number one is we need to make sure that women and families know that there are resources and places that they can go to.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And even when I was at Belmont Abbey campus, I know MiraVia opened up on the campus in 2013, but a lot of people, my friends that I had that are on campus, didn't know anything about it. And now everybody does. So just especially the younger generation and the younger crowd, getting them out there and getting them excited too, because we see people who are, pro-choice, their younger crowd is getting out there, and it just overpowers the pro-life movement.
Mm-hmm. Debbie, what's your advice for people who are listening to this podcast today? So I did like a little Instagram live a couple weeks ago. I was at a friend's maternity home that they had started in Pittsburgh, this beautiful maternity home. And I just did like a little hey, I'm outside. And you wouldn't believe the response I got from people who said, I want to do that too. Like I could buy a house and have a maternity home. I could do that. What is your advice for people who listen to this podcast today and are moved and said, yeah, I could do this. I could gather up a couple of people in my neighborhood, in my community to help get a home and get something like this started. What would be your first steps for someone who'd be interested in starting a maternity home?
Well, first step, at least, of course, in North Carolina, is every state's different on how they regulate maternity homes. For example, in North Carolina, not only do we have to be licensed by the Department of Health and Human Services, but they require that we be nationally accredited as well. So those are the places where you have to start first and see what the legal requirements are for you. Our hope at MiraVia is we, as an accredited organization with the policies and procedures, everything, the plan in place, for lack of a better word, we would love to franchise. So if there's a school or an area that can just help to create the space for us, we would love to come in and help them or to be that solution. If a college can outsource their dining to Chartwells or, I would say, hey, outsource it to us and let us come in and do what we do.
Have you started any franchises of MiraVia yet? This is exciting.
Well, so that's where we have been contacted by literally hundreds of people who, just like your friend just said, everybody wants to do something. What we need are the decision makers. We need the people. We need it more top down. It has been so much grassroots, like bottom up, of alumni and students, faculty, staff saying, hey, we want this. But it's like crickets listening for the administrators. And that's what we need is motivation. I think alumni need to put pressure on their schools and say, what are we doing? And until they really open their eyes and understand that, this is what they need to be looking at.
I love that action item. So for example, if you are alumni or associated or support a Christian university, why not start a letter writing campaign, a petition to the school administration to say, bring MiraVia to our campus. Let's actually put our money where our mouth is when it comes to advocating for life. Allison, let's bring you into this conversation a little bit. You have more of a national perspective. You've served at Concerned Women for America, Alliance Defending Freedom, Live Action. I haven't convinced you to come work for me at Students for Life yet. It's going to happen one day. But you've served in such different roles nationally. What do you think? And how do you think folks can get engaged to get going on this action item? Really?
Yeah, I think this is one of those moments where having that tangible action item puts, pressure on people. So often, I even see messengers out there in the ProLife Movement just saying, we need to do more. We need to get churches involved. We need to get schools involved. And it's like, okay, well, like Debbie said, there's thousands of people that are like, tell me what to do. And that happens to you, Kristen. I'm sure it happens to me. What can I do? Okay, well, let's talk. What's your role? Where are you working? What are you doing? Can you donate money to purchase a maternity home, like Debbie's saying? Or, are you on the board of a school? There's so many things for us to be doing that are really tangible. So I think for me, just when we can gather something like this, don't just say, oh, a church should get involved. Okay, what do you mean by that? I mean, my pastor should give a sermon on Sunday about it. It means my youth group should be set up, boys, girls, let's talk about sex. Like, that's what that looks like. So I think for me, it's a good reminder. And as in the work I do and like some of the media training and messaging I do is give people tangible items because they can run with it. Go start a campus chapter of Students for Life if you're a student. Go start Embrace Grace or, something else if that's where your heart is. In my dream world, if anyone wants to figure this out, I want a personality test for each pro-lifer so we can figure out exactly where you fit best because there's so much good work to do, like so much.
Yep.
So I think that's it.
I love it. We actually do personality tests for not only our staff, but all of our top student leaders, our top 200 students for life leaders that we call them our Leaders Collective, because that's one of the things of self-discovery of what you can do to get involved and where your talents and personality. Look, we all know I'm good at certain things and I'm not good at other things, but you have to discover that to know where God's placing you. And so if he can work through me, he can work through anyone in this movement. I am like testimony number one. All right. What else haven't we talked about that I need to talk about, Allison?
Oh, this is awesome. I'm just so encouraged. And I just want to encourage anyone who is listening. If you feel inspired by this, I know that, even just the idea of like a letter writing campaign, it's like, well, will it work? We have to start thinking like, yes, it will work. What lives could be saved if this works? So maybe we all take on, petitioning our campuses or our alumni, if you're an alumni, to start a MiraVia. Well, at least it gets the ball rolling. And just the thought of saving one life. I mean, you could save a life. That's powerful. You can empower a girl, keep her from post-abortion regret. I mean, that's huge. So think about the potential if you just put some effort behind being pro-life and seeing what could happen.
I'm literally writing it down in my task list right now. Letter writing campaign for MiraVia on Christian colleges across the country. It sounds like a good
Maybe
task.
All those colleges that didn't do good on the college list that you put out need to prove that they're pro-life by setting up a free maternity home for girls and supporting them. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. We actually saw a decrease in our overall ranking of conservative Christians, like Christian schools and their pro-lifeness after Roe was reversed. Actually, we saw schools that had A's that went down to C's and things like that, which means after Roe was reversed, they started promoting Planned Parenthood again. And so that was super, super disappointing to see. But ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. It was so awesome to feature all three of you. We made it work. And just to hear this amazing story of this holistic center that's loving women, that's loving children, loving families, and just transforming our nation and really exemplifying what it means when we say love them both. So thank you, Debbie, for your service. Thank you, Emily, for your courage and now your service. And thank you, Allison, for all of your wisdom and insight and really being this advocate nationally for MiraVia and maternity homes across the country. And thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you share this episode with anyone you might think could join you in your community to start a maternity home. Bye, everyone.